Hey guys, this is Jonah, and um, how are you guys doing today? Um, no, I'm like acting like this is a therapy session. So, wow, okay, today I am 6 months clean, and I'm 6 months clean from SH for people wondering, and I'm coming on here today in celebration, but also to share my experience in the inpatient and in long-term facilities, considering it is my 6 month anniversary of being clean. So here we go. Okay, so taking it all the way back to 2019 when I was 12 years old. So I went to my first inpatient stay when I was 12. And this was this was a very hard and scary experience. Um, I I didn't know anybody who had gone to an inpatient before, and I didn't know anything about it before going, and so I was taken to the ER, and um, there I didn't stay that long, which is pretty lucky for like the first time going because usually you spend a really long time there, like up to 2 or 3 days, which is really unfortunate. I've had friends that have stayed there for like 4 or 5. So I lucked out because I was there for like dinner and then they took me up. And I went to the upstairs, I went to the inpatient that night, and I remember getting there and I was so freaked out because I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about it. And I remember like them taking me in to do the evaluation for the first time. So like they did my vitals, and vitals is just like what you do at like a physical exam if you go to like the doctors. So like they do your blood pressure, heart rate with like this little thing, um, and temperature. Um, and yeah, so we did that, and then they take a picture of you, so it's not like they just have to they have to like take a picture of you and like put it on your little ID thing, so they know who you are. Um, and the first 2 nights, I stayed in my room and I cried myself to sleep, and I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to see anybody. Um, like people would come in and I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Like I'd say my name if they had asked to do checks, but I just didn't like I didn't want to be associated with anyone or anything just because I needed to be adjusted. And that's fair because that place is hard to adjust to. Um, and yeah, so my first time there, I stayed there for about 2.5 weeks. I met one of my friends. For the sake of this video, we can just call her um, Lay. And I met Lay, and um, she was really sweet. And she was like, yeah, very, very nice person. And I haven't spoken to her since being there. She was shipped to a long term, and yeah, but I'm pretty sure I saw her on the street once, and I was like, wait, is that her? And that happens a lot with like people that I meet in psych. And so that was my first experience. And then I managed to stay out of psych until COVID that year. So this was like December, January, so like 2017. Wait, no, 2018, 2019. And in March, when COVID like had just started, I got sent to Wilderness, and I stayed there for 6 months, and that was a long-term facility. It was called True North, and that was in Vermont. My parents decided that somewhat without my knowledge, like I knew that I was going, but I thought that it would be for 3 weeks. So it was like it felt like abandonment on my part. Um, and that was really hard, and I did not want to be there. Um, but I learned a lot from that. It was very traumatic, but I did learn a lot. It now just feels like a weird dream. Sorry, I'm like playing with the eyeballs of my squishmallow. My partner gave me this, and it's so tiny and squish. I love it. Um, Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, and so that was that experience, and I'm my best friend that I have to this day is from Wilderness, and I talk to her almost every day. So I'm grateful that I went because I gained one of the best relationships I've had. And yeah, so that was that. And then I managed, so that was up into my second eighth grade year. So that was my eighth grade year. And then I did another eighth grade year right after that. Sorry if that's confusing. And um, I managed to stay out of inpatient from that next eighth grade year and the ninth grade. And then in ninth grade, the summer of ninth grade, a very traumatic thing happened. And um, that led to some feelings that came up because something similar had happened to me when I was 6. So it was very hard to cope with. And I didn't really recognize that it happened till like a while after. But that fall, I went to inpatient again. Um, and I just switched schools that year as well. So that was very difficult. Um, and I went to the inpatient again. So that was my second inpatient. And then I got out before I was ready to get out. And then a week later, I had to go back into the inpatient for doing a target behavior. And um, sorry, I'm trying to talk about the experience without like getting emotional. Um, but so that was that. And then so that was like kind of like November, like October, November. Um, and then I'm going to be honest, I can't remember a lot of like the rest of it because I've just like been there so much. I think I've gone about, I want to say like 19 or 20 times to like the inpatient facility, but I'm not sure. I don't want to give like an estimate, but like, yeah, that's, it's like somewhere in that range. Um, and so I will highlight like the most productive, if you will, or like best day that I had and the worst day that I had because I feel like those are important to encapsulate on. So the I'll start out with the worst. Let's end on good news. So the worst inpatient I had was at a place called Arbor, and this this place there was people that were very transphobic, and at the time I was out as non-binary, not as trans male yet. But there was a person who was yelling a slur at me, and she was my roommate. So it was kind of like a double difficulty. And yeah, there were people that were trying to do not good things to me. Um, and that was really hard and just made my mental health worse. And I had to go back to actually, and this is the best inpatient. So I went there, and then I went to this inpatient, which like, oh my god, like best, best food ever, like ever, ever, ever. Best place, best assignment, and there were so many queer folks there and they respected your pronouns, which was like huge because I wasn't getting that at the other place. So I went here, and this was like a few days later, after I'd gotten discharged from the other one, because I want to do a 3 day, but I got out earlier. I'm pretty sure. I think it was like 2.5 days because I was not feeling safe there, and there was people threatening to me. So yeah, I was out of there. And I went to this place, and this place is called Franciscans. And I loved it there. It was so amazing. The kids were so sweet, and they had they had a cafeteria, and we could like go down to the cafeteria and like get coffee and like snacks and onion rings. And that was the height of my existence because that mm, so good. And they had a playground, and they had wheelchair swings. So like for people who are disabled, for like the children there, because it was a children's hospital, for the children there that were disabled and needed to be in a wheelchair, they could just go on this swing. And I'm like, what? Like, it was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that, and it was astonishing. Um, but yeah, really, really, really cool experience, and I loved it. I was there for the lunar eclipse, I think. Yeah, or the solar eclipse. I'm not sure which one. Not good at like the moon sun stuff, but yeah, I saw that there, and like everybody from the hospital was like out there just like yeah, so that was a really good experience. And then I've had like a lot of middle ranged ones. So I've only been to one adult inpatient, and the experience there I had was a lot different from the child ward. In the child ward, it's a lot the at least the ones that I'd went to were a lot more supervised than the adult ones. The adult one that I went to McLean, so it was the one for like BPD and like personality disorders because I have BPD, and it was good. It was just very like a lot more unsupervised, and like I don't know. It was there was a lot of people that were struggling with things that I hadn't heard of before and or hadn't seen. So that was like somewhat educational but also very difficult at the same time and triggering because like I was there for my own stuff, and like I'm getting like exposure to these like new things. So it was definitely it was a lot to take in. It was a lot to take in. But I'm the therapy there was like great and like really good for my BPD. So I'm very thankful on that part, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I will not have to go back again. That last stay in the child or in the adult one, because I am 19 now, that stay was like a week and a half ago, I want to say. Um, but yeah, I am good. I promise. Like I'm doing good. It's just like I'm it's hard because when you have something like BPD and a lot of other things, then sometimes that leads to like having to go to care like that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not doing good. It's just like more for the protection of like not going into mania because sometimes I have episodes and they can be uncontrollable. So it's more just like we're going to watch you here in surveillance instead of like having you on the out and like doing something that you might regret. Um and yeah, so that that is that. I I am I've had a road. I've had a very hard road so far. But I really hope that it gets better. And for all of you guys struggling out there, I really hope it gets better for you too, because those places aren't fun and they're not humane. as much as people would love to say that they're humane, they are not humane. They're getting better, but they're still definitely not humane. Um, and yeah, I'm I'm really grateful for all of the love and support that I've gotten over the years, and I wouldn't be here without it. And I hope that you guys can reach out to a friend or be that friend for somebody else, or just be that friend, be that person. If you know that your friend is struggling, just reach out, give some give some give some hugs, give some, I don't know, give some love, because everybody needs more love, everybody needs more time. And I just hope that you guys have that person and you can be that person, because the world needs more people like that. And yeah, I'm grateful for you guys and I'm grateful that you're here. So I hope you feel the same. Um, I love you guys. I know that today's like that it's a little bit more sad of a video, but I hope that it's inspiring. I hope that it like lifts spirits instead of drops them. Yeah, I've made it through a lot of shit, and I am so grateful to be here, and I wouldn't have it any other way for me not to be here. I love living. I love my life, and I'm so grateful for this experience. Um, and it's been hard, but and like I wouldn't have gone through it again, but I'm I'm glad that I've made it, and I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm glad that you're here. So, you go have a great night or day or afternoon. Um, I love you guys and I appreciate you. So, thank you. Have a good night. Well, day or whatever. Okay. Sorry, that's like I'm talking too much now. Okay. Well, please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. Okay. I'm signing off. Like, share, subscribe. This is Jonah. Bye.